So it looked like Chennedy Carter is struggling to find a team after she assaulted Caitlin Clark.
Did you see what Chennedy Carter just did? She didn't just push Caitlin Clark, she pushed her entire career off a cliff. And now the WNBA won't even look her way. Can you believe it? One moment she's a rising star, the next she's radioactive. And no team wants to touch her. But here's where it gets really interesting. Carter didn't just lose her spot on the Chicago Sky. She lost the respect of her teammates, her coach, and the entire league. And now we're going to break down exactly how she went from potential superstar to unemployed in the blink of an eye.
To calm down. Most of the big free agents have found homes, but there is one question that I just cannot get out of my head, and that is, what the heck is going on with Chennedy Carter?
Can you believe one push could end a career? Well, that's exactly what happened when Chennedy Carter decided to get physical with Caitlin Clark. Let's set the scene. It was just another game until Carter lost her cool and shoved Clark to ground. Now you might be thinking, come on, it was just a little push right wrong. This wasn't your average on-court scuffle.
Mabry doubled off to Carter. Her jumper is good. Chennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench, and Clark.
Here's the thing, Carter didn't just push Clark, she pushed the face of women's basketball, the golden goose of the WNBA. And here's where it gets really interesting. The reaction was immediate and brutal. We're talking coaches, players, and fans all turning on Carter. In an instant, it was like watching a house of cards collapse. But instead of cards, it was Carter's entire reputation and future in the league.
Make it make sense. Look at the assault on Caitlin Clark. She's a thug. See this thug right here? She's a thug, bro. Hold on. Make this.
But why was this shove such a big deal? Well, it's all about who Clark is to the league. She's not just another player on the court. Clark is a walking ticket to sold-out arenas and skyrocketing ratings. When she steps on the court, people pay attention. And not just basketball fans, we're talking casual viewers, sponsors, and even people who've never watched a WNBA game before.
Of the season. This was not called a flagrant foul at the time, but it was obviously not a basketball play. Apparently it had something to do with one of the plays beforehand, but the words that came out of her mouth right before what happened kind of made this a little uncalled for. I mean, a little is understated, but it ended up being upgraded to a flagrant one foul. And that was not the end of the antics for Chennedy Carter for the season.
So when Carter decided to get physical with Clark, she didn't just break a rule. She threatened the WNBA's meal ticket. It's like if someone decided to take a swing at LeBron James or Steph Curry in their prime, you just don't do that without consequences.
She's been balling out overseas, from my understanding, and people were wondering on Twitter and X, why come she haven't found the team? I'm here to tell you, this ain't rocket science why she ain't found the team. I don't know why people be so surprised.
Now, you might be wondering what exactly happened after the shove. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't pretty. The backlash was swift, and merciless coaches who might have given Carter a second chance suddenly went silent. Players who might have stood up for her were nowhere to be found, and fans, they turn on her faster then you can say technical foul.
No, we all should have seen this coming from Chennedy Carter. I don't want you to hear y'all. I don't want to hear nobody saying people picking on her. She made her bed. Now she got to lay in it.
But here's the kicker. It wasn't just about the physical act. It was about what that act represented. In one moment, Carter showed a complete lack of respect for the game, for her fellow players, and for the league that gave her a chance to shine. She took all the goodwill she'd built up and tossed out the window.
Chennedy Carter is a fascinating subject because she has talent. And she, at times, at her best, is absolutely unguardable. But I don't think I have ever known of a player outside of Liz Cambage who has gotten in their own way so much and is just so talented.
Now, everyone's wondering what's next for Carter. But trust me, it only gets worse from here. Because in the world of professional sports, your reputation is everything. And Carter, she just set hers on fire and watched it burn.
This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people, which really escalated the issue. And it was really just poor sportsmanship on Kennedy's part, to be completely honest. And she really didn't deal with the backlash very well either.
You see, in the WNBA, like any pro league, it's not just about how well you played, about how you carry yourself, how you treat your teammates, and how you represent the league. And when you mess with the league's biggest star, you're not just making an enemy on the court, you're making an enemy of everyone who has a stake in the game's success.
I think I genuinely think that she's just sick. They're just sick of Caitlin Clark. I think a lot of these players are sick of Caitlin Clark. I think these players are sick of Caitlin Clark's fans. I don't think they're actually sick of Caitlin Clark. I think they're just sick of Caitlin Clark. They're sick of the mania around Caitlin Clark.
All right, you ready for this? Chennedy Carter's fall from grace wasn't just fast, it was supersonic. We're talking about a player who went from rising star to radioactive waste faster than you can say technical foul. But here's the real shocker. It wasn't just the fans who turned on her.
That is the Chennedy Carter situation. So we know the Sky pretty much let her go about 2 to 3 weeks ago, right? We haven't heard nothing else since, bro.
You see, in the world of pro sports, news travels at the speed of light. And when it came to Carter, that news was like a nuclear explosion. 1 minute, she's lighting up the scoreboard for the Chicago Sky. The next, she's out on the street. But hold up, you won't believe who was pushing hardest to get rid of her. Let's just say with teammates like these who needs opponents.
Somebody said Chennedy Carter is such a great player, but she needs to work on whatever she's dealing with. The Sky didn't even want her back, and that speaks volumes because she was the best shooter on their team. The Sky didn't want her back because she's bad press for the damn team.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This wasn't just about one shoved note. That was just a straw that broke the camel's back. The Sky had been dealing with Carter's issues for a while, and they were over it. You know it's bad when your own team considers you bad press. Ouch.
Behavior. And I was sitting here thinking, wow, like Chennedy, like she's really turning a new leaf. But then she gets no offer to return from the Chicago Sky, which a lot of people have been feeling by her social media posts that she got quite offended by.
Can you believe the Sky management was so done with Carter that they didn't even try to trade her? They just cut her loose, no strings attached. It's like they couldn't wash their hands off her fast enough. And let me tell you, in the world of pro sports, that's practically unheard of. It's like they were saying, we don't care if we get nothing in return. Just take her off our hands.
I told y'all early on, I don't think no WNBA team is going to sign her. For Chicago to get rid of her and not get nothing speak volumes. That's how bad they wanted her gone. That set the tone in her free agency to let them know we don't care about her. We're just going to release her. We don't want nothing for her. She got to go.
Now, you might be wondering, okay, but surely some of the team will pick her up. Right, wrong, dead wrong. Carter went from hot commodity to radioactive waste in the blink of an I-1 commentator. Even said Chennedy Carter is the reason WNBA won't take a risk on her. That's not just burning bridges. That's nuking them from orbit.
Somebody said they really played on Chennedy Carter's name, trying to make her seem like a bum who was hating on Caitlin Clark this queen. No. Like, bro, she did what she did. She did what she did. She did what she did, and this is the result of your actions. You know what I'm saying? You got to take responsibility for your actions.
Let's break this down for a second. We're talking about a league where talent is everything, where teams will often overlook a player's flaws if they can ball out on the court. But Carter, she managed to make herself so toxic that not even her undeniable skills could save her. That's like having a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and then setting it on fire right in front of the gates.
And if you're a Chicago Sky fan, you sit back and I think to myself, man, the combination of Chennedy Carter and Camila Cardoso is going to be lethal this season. Except it's not. The Chicago Sky are they're letting Chennedy Carter go. All right? Letting her go. And of course, she's had issues involving locker room behavior before, right? Which is sort of the sentiment that's out there right now.
You know what's crazy? This all happened so fast that Carter's head must still be spinning. One day she's suiting up for the Sky, the next she's watching the games from her couch. And it's not like she can just hop on over to another team. No, sir. She's got a reputation now. And in the WNBA, that reputation is about as welcome as a skunk at a perfume testing.
She made a social media comment about how making layups is so important to the game. A lot of people thinking she was talking about Angel Reese not being able to make a layup. Some people thinking she was talking about Unrivaled not making layups, because this was when there was a game in Unrivaled where everyone was like breaking everything and missing.
So what does this mean for Carter? Well, let's just say her agent is probably working overtime right now. But here's the thing in pro sports, second chances don't come easy, and third chances are about as rare as a unicorn riding a rainbow. Carter didn't just push Caitlin Clark. She shoved her whole career off a cliff.
So the Sky do not want her for locker room issues. They did not offer her any return contract, never spoke about her in conversations about the franchise's future, and there has not been a peep about anywhere that she could be landing in this.
It's like someone hit the mute button on every team in the league. Not a whisper, not a peep, nothing. And you got to wonder what's got everyone so spooked they won't even touch her with a 10-foot pole.
Like, did y'all forget all of the events that transpired last year with her and Caitlin Clark? And then she refused to own up to what she did. What organization want to deal with that? It's only one organization I could maybe think want to deal with that. And that is the Las Vegas Aces, because they currently going through a little situation themselves, and they ain't looking too good.
Let's break this down. Carter's out of job. And you'd think with her talent, someone would be willing to take a chance. Right, wrong, dead. Wrong, the phones aren't just quiet. They're practically disconnected. And here's where it gets really wild. It's not just about that one shove. It's about what Carter represents.
Bro, because we've been hearing a lot of players getting signed, dog. Whole lot of players, whole lot of stuff shaking and moving. But nothing is shaking and moving in the Chennedy Carter department. And I wonder why. Maybe you shouldn't have ever assaulted Caitlin Clark.
Can you believe it? She's gone from rising star to radioactive in record time. We're talking locker room poison, a PR nightmare waiting to happen any team that signs her isn't just getting a player, they're getting a whole truckload of drama. And in today's WNBA, where every move is under a microscope, that's the last thing anyone wants.
A lot of people, including myself, are wondering, is she worth the risk now? There is speculation that the Aces might take her, but the Aces do not have a lot of cap room, and Chennedy is kind of standing hard on her value, and she is saying she won't come off the bench. She does not want to come back on a veteran minimum salary, but I just don't know how much wiggle room she has with her off-court behavior and the chances any teams want to take.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Even Carter's agent is struggling to find anyone willing to listen. Imagine being so toxic that even the people paid to hype you up can't find a single taker. It's like Carter's become the WNBA's version of CRYP tonight, get too close. And your whole franchise might start feeling sick.
But somebody said Chennedy Carter is averaging damn near 50 right now overseas as we speak. Why? Come, she has not been signed. Make this make sense. Make this make sense? You want us to make this make sense? I got one good reason why she ain't got signed yet. Make this make sense. Why would she do this? Roll the damn footage. You want to say why? That's why she ain't got signed.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but she's been tearing up overseas, right? Surely that counts or something. Well, hold on to your hats, because this is where it gets really wild. Carter's been averaging nearly 35 points per game overseas. That's not just good, that's video game numbers. But guess what? It doesn't matter, not one bit. Because in the WNBA, her reputation is so damaged, teams aren't even looking at those stats.
Don't think that the Golden State Valkyries would take a chance to muddy up the vibe of the locker room, because the locker room seems to have cultivated kind of like a great presence from everybody that they've signed. And the Golden State Valkyries are a team that seems to be this future destination teams for a lot of players. And I think they are very much cultivating and working on that brand. So I don't see the Golden State Valkyries wanting to take that chance.
Let's put this in perspective. We're talking about a league where talent is everything, where teams are always on the hunt for the next big star. But with Carter, it's like she doesn't even exist. One WNBA executive didn't mince words, saying they wouldn't touch her. With a 10-foot pole, another insider called her a locker room cancer in professional sports. That kind of label is like a death sentence for your career.
Somebody else said, wonder if Chennedy Carter likes heat, cushion tacos and margaritas and a little blackjack. So a lot of people have been predicting that the Aces is going to sign her. I don't know. They in dire need of help, though. I tell you that much. But I don't think her and Becky Hammond go on and get along.
And you know what's really mind-blowing? This isn't just about basketball skills anymore. It's about trust. It's about reliability. It's about being able to play nice with others and not cause a media firestorm. Every other week, Carter's actions didn't just burn bridges. They nuked them from orbit. And now no one's willing to start rebuilding.
Ken Swift posted this, right? He's got a theory. So now that Chicago Sky have decided to let their leading scorer, Chennedy Carter, go for virtually nothing in return, when are they going to find out the real reason why? ? I've long suspected that at least one of the absences that Carter had was not due to illness, but instead she was jealous because of the narrative that was going around that Angel was the most valuable person on the team. Question is, where's Chennedy Carter going? I could see like a Dallas Wings grabbing her or something like that. Golden State Valkyries. If you're an expansion team, why would you not go get her? You know, I don't know. Attitude issues, I get it. Locker room issues, I get it. But it seems to me like the Chicago Sky got some issues beyond just getting rid of her.